Hey everybody, it's Meg. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about one of Fujifilm's latest X series cameras, the Fujifilm X-M5. And this just so happens to be the most affordable one in the lineup so far. And I have noticed that Fujifilm cameras have increased in price significantly over the past few years, which makes recommending them a little bit challenging. So when I heard about the X-M5 and its price tag, I was very eager to go check it out. So yeah, here it is. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is the overall size. So this is the smallest Fujifilm camera that I've ever used. And I feel like that says a lot because Fujifilm cameras are just generally small and lightweight already. But if you take out the kit lens and use a pancake lens, it's practically smaller than my iPhone 13 Pro. So yeah, that's insane. And for the sake of comparison, here it is next to the Fujifilm X-S20. So as you can see, the overall footprint is just a lot smaller. And here it is next to the Fujifilm X106. It's a lot smaller and not to mention a lot lighter. Now, it's kind of crazy because these two cameras are already so compact for mirrorless cameras. Now, in terms of design, the X-M5 is a tad bit different because it's like a combination of the X-S20, the X-T50, and the body of an X106, but smaller. But you do get the PSAM-like design, so you get the dial here on the right, together with the 4 customizable modes and that newer vlog mode. You get another dial on the right, a cue button, a recording button for video, and the shutter with a thread. On the top, you can see multiple mics surrounding the hot shoe mount and the Fujifilm logo on top. Now, this is actually a design feature that I really liked. And of course, the infamous film simulation dial. Now, this was first introduced on the X-T50, and while it received mixed reviews, I think it's a lot more welcome on the X-M5 because this does lean a little more towards beginners. So another new thing is that the mic input is now right above the screen. So I'm not a big fan of that because if you have like longer wires, it can get in the way, and you do get a fully articulating screen, always welcome for people who shoot a lot of video, and you get 2 screws on the back if you would ever want to get that mic attachment. On the right side, you get your standard ports, USB-C for charging, micro HDMI port, and a headphone jack. And on the front of the camera, you get your dial that can also be pressed, and this is also customizable. So yeah. So now let's go ahead and talk about the sensor on the X-M5. So this sports the older 26.1 X-Trans4 sensor, the one that you can find on previous flagships like the X-T4, the X100V, and cameras like the XS10, the ones we all know and love. But it does support the X Processor 5, and that's found on all of the newer generation cameras like the X-T5, which is what I'm shooting on right now, the X106, the X-T50, as well as the XS20. Now, these two cameras are actually very similar. They're practically identical. The only difference is that the XS20 has in-body image stabilization, and that's why I love my XS20 so much. I really enjoy having IBIS, and I do understand that that's probably what they did to cut the costs for the X-M5 to have that specific price point, but it is a shame that it doesn't have it. But with all that being said, can the most affordable X series camera actually hold up against its more expensive brothers and sisters? Well, personally, I think yes. Even with an outdated sensor, it does come with the X Processor 5, giving it better autofocusing and tracking, which was always a weaker point in the older generation Fujifilm cameras. So I took this on a trip with me to Japan and Singapore, and I think it definitely delivered in terms of image quality for both photos and videos. The experience, I would say, is more or less the same compared to my more expensive Fujifilm cameras. Plus, it was incredibly lightweight. I can't even stress the relief on my shoulders and my back. Personally, my favorite lens to use with the X-M5 was the pancake lens. This is the 27mm f2.8 because in combination with this incredibly compact form factor, you're practically invisible. But I did shoot a lot with the TT Artisan 35mm f1.8 Mark II because I am making a video on this. Here's some more sample shots. And while Fujifilm is known for having amazing JPEGs that go along with their incredible set of film simulations, you always have the option to shoot in RAW if you want a little more control in post. So here's some more sample photos. As for the video quality on the X-M5, it's actually insane how specced out this tiny camera is. It has all the same features the XS20 has, meaning you'll be able to shoot Full HD up to 240 frames per second. You can shoot 4K up to 60 frames per second. By the way, all of the footage that you're seeing is mostly shot 4K 24p 200 megabits per second. You can also shoot in 10-bit 422, meaning you get better colors. You can also shoot in 6K OpenGate, which was a feature once exclusive to the Fujifilm X-H2S, which is a camera that's 3 times the price of this little camera, which is basically shooting with the whole sensor. So you shoot with a 3:2 aspect ratio, which will allow you to crop in later in post to either a 9:16 or a 16:9 video. Now, crazy spec list aside, the X-M5 can deliver great videos, but there is one catch, and that's what I mentioned earlier with the XS20. It's the lack of in-body image stabilization. I found a lot of my footage initially was unusable, and the digital stabilization in camera is just really bad. Just a very warpy video, plus you get a really big crop. So I wouldn't really say that would be worth it. I do recommend getting a lens that is optically stabilized, but shooting without IBIS just gets worse when you try to shoot with tighter focal lengths like the TT Artisan 35mm. So 90% of the footage that I have was shot on a tripod. Now this isn't necessarily bad if that's okay with you, but for me it was an adjustment. But I did feel like I got something from it, from the experience, because I was a lot more intentional with my framing and my shooting. So there is that. So the X-M5 has this new shooting mode where it automatically crops your 16:9 footage into 9:16 footage, which is great if you don't want to do any editing in post, but it is limited to just 1080p. So for me personally, I would rather just frame the shot myself so I get the best video quality possible. So now that we've established that the X-M5 is a fantastic camera for both photo and video, let's talk about the pros and cons. Let's start with pros. It's incredibly small and lightweight. I know I've said it multiple times during this video already, but I just could not get over the fact that I was able to bring this together with a prime lens in a 2-liter fanny pack. It was just, I just brought it around with me everywhere, and it did not break my back or my shoulders. So that is very, very much appreciated. Now, I always want to say this to the people who are just on the lookout for the Fujifilm X100V and X106. Not to say that those are bad cameras, it's just that those aren't the only cameras that can give that kind of output. The entire X series lineup kind of works the same. The X-M5 is no different, so I would recommend just picking up one of those and saving your money and buying a few lenses. So not to bring up the X100 series again, but just having the ability to change your lenses is really important for me, because I like being able to experiment with different focal ranges and just figuring out your own personal shooting style. Not to say that the fixed 23mm f2 lens is bad on those, like they're actually great, but for me personally, I enjoy switching it up. So the new mic system here is actually really cool because it allows you to choose where to focus your audio. So for all of my clips in my videos, I actually never used the mic, and I just used that. I just reduced the mic input, and I think it came out great. Now let's move over to the cons. As I mentioned earlier, the X-M5 does not have in-body image stabilization. Now, it didn't affect my experience for photo as much as it did for video, but again, if you're fine with shooting on a tripod 90% of the time, that's fine. Just make sure to be shooting with an optically stabilized lens if you want to shoot handheld. So this is probably another thing they did to cut the cost of this camera, but having no EVF, especially if you're used to shooting with one, can be very challenging. I found myself bringing the camera up to my face a lot of the time when I was first starting out using it. But yeah, it does get a little bit harder during the day when you're shooting, when it's really bright out. You can still see it, the screen is still great, but it's just one of those things that are harder. So even though this is the most affordable camera in the lineup, it's still kind of pricey, which still makes it a little bit of a hard recommendation. Even though it's a really capable camera, again, especially for video, but it's still kind of expensive. Just thinking back then, like a few years ago, when we still had like the X-T200 and the X-A7, those were more affordable cameras. Although this is like definitely more spec'd out. It's just kind of crazy to think that the most affordable lineup is a sub $1,000, here in the Philippines close to 60,000 pesos camera. So yeah. So I think the X-M5 is perfect for anybody who wants to break into the Fujifilm system today, and somebody who's just starting out for photo and video, but especially for somebody who wants the most compact and lightweight kit possible. Again, pair this with a kit lens, you're practically invisible. So I really enjoyed using that. But this is also great for prosumers or even professionals who just want a fun camera. Fujifilm's film simulations really make it fun to shoot. Like, I always feel inspired after a good photo walk. So yeah, so that is pretty much that for this video. Hopefully you guys got something from it. If you have any questions, please ask down below in the comment section. If you want to see videos with the X-M5 up against the X-S20 or the X106, comment down below as well. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.